right, Walther PPK. Some of you have seen it, been asking about it, and here it is out on the range, ready to shoot. This is a classic firearm, and I'm looking forward to showing it, talking a little bit about it, and shooting it some more. I have shot it some, but not a great deal. The Walther PPK is a sexy little gun. You know, that's really the word that always comes to mind with me, because it's been around a long time. I've had one, an earlier version of it, about 25 years ago, I guess it was. And this one I acquired recently because I just missed it. And let's look at it here. This is the PPKS, and I'll load a magazine while I'm gabbing. But Walther came out, I think, in 29 with a PP, and then in 31 the PPS, or PPK rather. And that thing, I guess for about 40 years, was very popular. German police, military, it was carried in World War II. Just a very popular gun, very handy. I think it had a shorter grip, 1 round less. This one holds 7 in the magazine. I think the PPK holds 6. And about the same length of the slide, I believe, but a very, very popular gun. Then when World War II ended, Germany, I think none of the manufacturers were allowed by the Allies to manufacture firearms. And so these were farmed out. Walther licensed to other countries to manufacture them. France, the one I had was made in France, and it was blue. And cool gun, never had any trouble with it. And but now that was in the days before all the cool little 380s and 9mm, you know, of today. So it was even cooler then, and I can imagine back in the 30s, the 40s, and the 50s, a gun like this that was that small was, and you know, with some power, granted, it was usually probably stoked with hardball, was a pretty attractive little gun, you know, because guns weren't famous for being really small back then, unless you had a Derringer or something. But anyway, and then in, I think it was 68, the Gun Control Act of 68, the famous Gun Control Act, or the infamous Gun Control Act of 68, put new restrictions on imported firearms and all that. So under the size requirements, it couldn't be imported, the PPK. So they lengthened the grip mainly, I think, to where it holds 7 + 1, and then it qualified. You know how crazy gun laws can be. And so it's back, the PPKS. In fact, in the 70s, it started being manufactured by Interarms in the United States. And Smith & Wesson even makes them. I think they still make them. They have the license for them now, I believe. And they've made a few minor modifications that actually are slight improvements over this one. A little bit bigger beaver tail. I think the feed ramp's a little bit better. And so, but essentially, it's the same gun. You know, the PPK, the PPKS, not a lot of difference. And just so much historical significance, I guess you could say. Some really famous historical figures have carried this thing. Hitler, James Bond, you know, really. And James Bond put away a lot of bad guys with his, didn't he? Hitler put away one really bad guy, himself, which we're glad of that, right? But so it does have some significant history. If you've seen any James Bond movies, you've seen this. It was a 32, I believe, that he carried, and then the one that Hitler used was a 32. But they did the job, didn't they? And this is a 380. For those of you kind of new to firearms, the 380 is kind of the, in fact, it says right on the slide here, 9mm Kurtz for short. It's a shorter 9mm round. It's the same diameter. Basically, it's just a little bit shorter. It's usually a lighter bullet. These are 90 grain. These are some PMCs, and they're usually around 90, 95 grain bullets. So it's a little bit lighter, but they're not like shooting peas or beans through a straw. They're still plenty powerful. Okay, they pack a little bit of a wallop, and then you also nowadays get some really nice carry ammo in 380. So let's just shoot a little bit. It's heavier than a lot of the modern guns in this genre, but it just feels good. It really does. So let's take a few more shots with it. And I don't know that I can shoot this one long range or anything. We'll play though. You know me, I can't resist trying a few things. We'll start out here a little bit closer. with these evil 12-ounce cans. Oh man. Oh boy. Uh-oh, there's an evil 2-liter right there close by. Oh man. All right. What a show. I love 2 liters. Okay, there's a couple more. Oh, nice. Thank you, 2 liter. Pop the gong, all right. Well, while we're out there, let's just do that. That was, I wasn't even sure where I was holding on that one. Let's see, I'll hold right in the middle of it and see. I think I was throwing a little bit. But, you know, I believe it shoots right on pretty much. It's just not quite as easy to, oh well, I would need to practice with it. I say it's not as easy to shoot well, but I think it probably would be if you shot it a lot. I'll tell you one thing you do get, and that is some slide bite. It's like the old original 1911s. You get a little slide bite or hammer bite there with it. And that's one of the improvements that Smith makes, which if I were going to carry one of these, going to get serious about a gun design of the 1930s, I'd probably have to have the Smith version and get my little web there protected better. But the gun just is cool. It really is. And it's not just because, you know, most of us have grown up seeing it in the movies. If you hold one, if you've ever held one or fired it, you know what I mean. It has a little bit of weight to it, of course, because it's all steel, but it's small and it just fits the hand. Kind of like a glove. It just feels good. It really does. And I can see why it has been so popular over the years and still has some popularity. We may do a comparison with it here one day because, as I said, you know, this gun, I think it's around 25 ounces and it has some weight to it, and we're shooting a 380. Well, compare that with the LCP, for example. It's just an incredible difference there. Or the car P380, you know, in the same caliber. Pretty dramatic difference in size and difference in weight. In fact, this is the kind of gun you'd see today on the market in a 9mm. You know, really, it's you know, similar to an LC9, you know, in size and a little bit heavier. It's heavier. So, you know, that's just where it is though in history. It's still a neat gun. And before we load it, I want to show you. Also, it's an interesting gun in terms of the way it breaks down, and I sometimes struggle, so get ready. If I get mad and sling it, don't think low of me, okay, or ill of me. You pull the trigger guard down, look at that, it's like it's broken, isn't it? Kind of hang it up a little bit there, and of course it was empty, and I believe you want the hammer back, and you pull this back and up, lift up on it. It's a blowback design. The barrel is fixed. It doesn't move, you know, like in most modern automatics where the barrel and slide come back together. The lock breech system. This is strictly blowback, so barrel is locked in. Your spring is right there, wrapped around the barrel. Pretty interesting, huh? So that's like the Burst of Thunder you saw me do. Same design basically. Except this thing has been around so long. You know, this is pretty interesting. Okay, we still got that trigger here. I think we can. Here's where I sometimes getting it back on. Some of that struggle a little bit, but usually works all right. There we go. Okay. All right, so that's how it comes apart. That's pretty unique, you know, when you compare it with a lot of really popular guns today, whether it's a car or an H&K or a SIG or a Glock or any of those. Okay, so we're shooting 380 ammo. Now with these guns, I think you generally get regular flush magazine and then one magazine with a little grip on it. And I bought an extra one, so I have 3 magazines. They hold, again, 7+1. 7+1. Well, let's just see if we can tell where it hits. This is an up close and dirty firearm, of course, but that never stops me from playing, does it? I got to put a couple on that gong. I still never was sure where I was holding when I hit it, or where I needed to hold. Okay. Yeah, a little bit lower than I expected. Okay. See if I can pop a ram. Not that he's likely to fall. Yeah, I didn't think he'd fall. More ammo, yes. All right. I think I put one on him, maybe two. See, that's a really cool looking gun. Let me show you the muzzle of it. Without pointing it at you, but it's just a really interesting design. Good looking gun. Smooth contour, the lines. You can't hate it. I tell you, it's a neat little gun. A lot of you have these. Would be my guess, or there's one in the family somewhere. We'll load up one more round here. But there's just something interesting. Even though this gun, you know, if someone who knew nothing about firearms at all was shopping for a carry gun, they went into a gun shop and, you know, LC9, a car, P380, the LCPs, and all those guns were laid out, PM9, CW9. They'd probably look at this and say, who made that? Why would someone make one that much bigger and heavier, you know, and expect to sell it, you know? But its place in history is there, and it is bigger, it's a little bit heavier, but it's not like an enormous difference, is what I'm trying to say. But it is different. And when you get into small guns, you know, from some of the other videos I've done with small guns, I am hard to please, as most people are, when you're talking about a gun that's going to be a pocket gun, for example, like a PM9 or something. I mean, 1 little ounce, you know, 1 little degree of thinness or whatever it is, makes a big, big, big difference. But a gun like this, because of the historical significance of it, the history, the feel of it, the lines, kind of like a 1911. You know, a lot of people own a 1911 that maybe didn't grow up with them, but they just kind of like them. And maybe they don't even shoot them as well. They feel like they're too heavy, or whatever reasons they might have, but they just like them, you know. This gun kind of falls in that category. It's a gun you could carry. In fact, I've been carrying it around. You've seen it in some of the videos. If I get a different gun, and I know I'm going to be doing videos with it, or it's a gun I like, I just want to carry it around the farm and shoot at some, I will. I'll pack it, and you'll just catch me with it on. There it is. In my, again, this is one of the companies with these crossbreed type holsters, hidden hybrid holsters. They sent me one for this gun, and it just rides beautifully. It's a little thinner. Normally, when you get down to a gun this thin, you're looking for a 380 especially, you're looking for a pocket gun, but it also rides nicely, you know, in a holster, because you just don't know you have it almost, because it is so thin. Okay, so I've been carrying it a while, and I really like it. So, one more round, can't resist. Fortunately, 380 ammo has become more available. As about a year ago, it was hard to find it, or it was very expensive. So let's just do it with this gun, and we just go get the first round in. What is supposed to be done with it? Just put it in the holster. Now, one thing I did not show you was how it operates. It is a double action on the first round. There's your safety. It's kind of like a Beretta 92. The way it is, it's safe. Okay, and you got a double action pull on the first shot. Now, if I were to take the safety off, I've got a long pull to fire it, and then after I fire it, the hammer will stay back, and it'll be a single action pull. You know, so it's that. You know, a characteristic that I'm not extremely fond of. Now, in a carry gun, a small gun, especially if it were a pocket gun, I'm not sure I put this in a pocket category. It could work in the pocket. You know, double action, you know, is not quite as undesirable, because you want that thing safe
first and foremost. But that's the way it operates. And you got pretty nice little sights there. I didn't show you. You got a very clear sight picture. No problem with that sight picture really at all if you're trying to bear down on something. And it's a quality gun. I don't know if I have said that yet, but you get the feeling that it's really quality. And you can see the way it matches up the slide to the frame. And I don't know, I knew it was licensed to several different makers, manufacturers, if any of them did shoddy work or not, but none I've seen really seem shoddy at all. Okay, so let's take a couple shots with it, put him back in the holster. Now, it's hot, has a round in the chamber. And the way some people would carry it would be just like that, pull it out, pop the safety off, and that would be, of course, ultra safe. Now, if I have it in a good holster and I'm going to carry it, I'm probably going to carry it like that, because I have a long double action pull, and then I'm just going to pull it out and then pull the trigger. Pull it out, pull the trigger, and miss, right? Before I put a new round in, let me show you what I was talking about. So there it is, safety on, safety off, pull the trigger, and of course the hammer would say back when it fired, and then I've got a short trigger action, I've got single action. So I go from double, it would be cocked, to single, okay? That's how it works. Let's put him back in the holster. I'm going to drop the hammer and put him back in the holster. Hammer's down, safety's off. Oh, we have a 2-liter here. Let's just take care of him. I'm going to try him double action. All right. Let's see if these big 380s will knock the tree limbs around. No. There you go. And get one more magazine. Now there is some hotter ammunition. Okay, this is just plinking ammo, this PMC stuff. There is some really good 380 ammo. So let's do a more realistic scenario here. We're hot, safety off. Okay, Mr. Cowboy. So that's more like what you'd be doing, even closer than that, of course, if you carried one of these for self-defense. But, you know, not a lot of people are out searching the gun shops and gun shows for a Walther PPK because they're looking for a carry gun, I don't think. But you could do worse. You really could. And boy, do you have a piece of history. It is just a really neat gun. Does you know, you don't have a slide lock or anything on to lock the slide back. You've got to put the magazine in like this. You're going to lock the slide back. That's what I was struggling with there. I'm not used to that in too many firearms. But the Walther PPK quite a piece of history and fun to shoot. I just kind of wanted to own one. You know, I might not keep it for the long haul, but I just wanted to have one, and I knew y'all would enjoy seeing it. At least I think you will. Life's pretty good.